Hi everybody, so I'm just going to try and go over what I was hoping to do with you today. So if you could get a pen ready and we'll just make a few wee notes. So periodically as we do this, I'll just talk a little bit and then I'll say hit pause and you can take a note of anything that you want to add to what you've got already. So we're looking at page number 19 in your booklet, and the reason we're doing this is we're going to look at the sonnet form. So this particular sonnet is a Petrarchan sonnet, and then we're going to look at a Shakespearean sonnet. It's a good start to unseen poetry, and also it ties in with John Donne's Holy Sonnets, which we're going to look at next term. So first of all, I want to give you just a few little details about the literary history of the sonnet. So you might need to know some of the following. First of all, it was introduced from Italy to England in Tudor times. So just press pause and make a note of that. Originally, the Petrarchan sonnet was used to express love. And the form was named after a 14th century Italian poet named Petrarch, Petrarch. Okay, so just press pause while you write that down. The form then made its way to England during the Renaissance. That's during the time of Shakespeare and Donne. And it was used by a range of poets, including famously Milton, Wordsworth, and this poet, Christina Rossetti. Okay, so just hit pause and make a note of that. Once you've done that, then I would like you to read the poem. So could you hit pause now and read the poem, please? Now that you've read it, could you add the rhyme scheme, please? So press pause just now, please, and do that. So you should find now that you have a rhyme scheme of A, B, B, A. So away and stay rhyme and land and hand rhyme. So that is what we call our quatrain. Okay, so if you can add A, B, B, A and write quatrain beside it. Okay, just press pause. If you could just check your spelling of quatrain as well, it should be Quatrain. Okay, if you continue then to mark on the rhyme scheme or check your rhyme scheme in the rest of the poem, so you have A, B, B, A again here, because obviously day rhymes with away. So lines 5 to 8 are your second quatrain. Just take a moment to mark that on as well. Okay, so if we look at the first and the second quatrain, you can see that as well as having a repetitive rhyme scheme, they're bound together by meaning, because in the first two quatrains, which we can also call an octave, the speaker is asking her lover to remember her after she dies. So can you just take a moment to just notice the repetition of remember me and the fact that in those first two quatrains, and you can add on the label octave, that the speaker is commanding her lover to remember her after she dies. Okay, then if you mark on your rhyme scheme in the final 6 lines of the sonnet, you should find it's C, D, D, C, D, D, E, C, E. And you should see that that is also complemented by a change or a complete turn in the poet's message. Yet, so obviously we have a discourse marker there that shows a change in argument, and you'll recognise those from John Donne. Yet, if you should forget me for a while and afterwards remember, do not grieve. For if the darkness and corruption leave, so that just means her death, a vestige, a little remaining part is vestige of the thoughts that I once had, Better by far you should forget and smile than you should remember and be sad. So the final 6 lines, which we can also call a sestet. So if you want to pause for a minute and write on sestet. So you can see that in that sestet, the argument is completely different, that the poet is saying that she would really prefer that her partner forgot her if it meant that he could go on and live a happier life. So just after line 8 here, between line 8 and 9, between our octave and our sestet, we have what's called a volta, which is a turning point, and that's one of the major features of a Petrarchan sonnet, that volta or turning point. Okay, finally you'll probably notice if you read each line that it has 10 syllables in every line, and that's what's called iambic pentameter. And all iambic means is an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable, and pent means 5, so it means that there are 5 of those little units of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable in each line. So if I read it in a very exaggerated way, you can probably hear it. Okay, so remember me when I am gone away. Okay, so that's another very common feature of this type of sonnet. So to summarise then, in your features section, you're just going to write down some of those specific qualities that you would find in a Petrarchan sonnet, which is also known as an Italian sonnet. So we'll just go over those again and list them. First thing is that you're going to write in the top here, just at the top line, the octave has 2 quatrains, and they'll have a rhyme scheme of A, B, B, A. That's your first quatrain, and then A, B, B, A, your second quatrain. Just press pause while you make a note of that. Secondly, the final 6 lines will usually have a rhyme scheme of C, D, D, E, C, E, or a similar rhyme scheme that binds the final 6 lines together, and that is called the sestet, S-E-S-T-E-T. Some places you'll see it called sextet, S-E-X-T-E-T. That's the same thing. Okay, then make a note the turning point in the poem between the octave and the sestet is called the volta, V-O-L-T-A. Just press pause while you make a note of that. Also be aware then that it's very common for the octave in an Italian or Petrarchan sonnet to outline a problem or a situation or to describe an incident. Just press pause. It's also very common for the sestet to offer a solution or resolution to what is described in the octave. Just press pause. Finally, just make a note of the fact that most Italian sonnets are written using iambic pentameter. Iambic is I-A-M-B-I-C, pentameter, pent, P-E-N-T, A-M-E-T-E-R, and that just meter means rhythm. It's another term for rhythm. Pent obviously means 5, so it means there are 5 little iambic beats in every line, okay, and that's an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. That's a very common feature of these sonnets too. Okay, so that's the beginnings of understanding the shape of an Italian or Petrarchan sonnet. Obviously there is more work that we could do on this poem to help us understand the subtleties of the language, but our main aim just now is to get a grip on what an Italian sonnet is. Okay, so if you turn over now, we're going to have a look at the Shakespearean sonnet.